Have you ever wondered what the ultimate truth really is? For countless seekers, the answer lies in this profound, incredible path called self-realization, or Atma Sakshatkaram. Today, we're going to break down the map for this journey. Okay, so right off the bat, let's clear up a huge misunderstanding. When we hear the word realization, we tend to think of some sudden flash of lightning, a big aha moment. But the ancient texts are actually really clear on this. That's not how it works. Self-realization isn't a single event you arrive at. It's the entire journey itself. And here's why that journey is so important. You can't skip it. Because self-realization is the very bedrock, the foundation, for two other critical pillars: Gyan, which is true knowledge, and the actual state of yoga. Without that foundation, you can't really get to the heart of either one. So if it's a journey, where do we even begin? Well, the very first and maybe the most critical step on this whole path is getting the right kind of knowledge. Which, of course, brings up the next big question. What is this knowledge we're talking about, and where on earth does it come from? Well, this isn't some new age idea. This foundational knowledge is deeply rooted in ancient Sanatana philosophies. We're talking specifically about schools of thought like Sankhya and Vedanta, which basically provide the blueprint for understanding the nature of reality. And listen, this knowledge tackles the biggest questions you can possibly ask. It digs deep into things like, who am I, really, at my core? What is Brahman, this ultimate, all-encompassing reality? What's my connection to it all? And hey, where did all of this, the entire creation, even come from? It's all about unraveling these huge mysteries. Now, here's what's really fascinating. The source makes it a point to say that just hearing about this knowledge or reading it in a book, that's not enough. The journey itself doesn't actually kick off until that knowledge is truly understood. That deep internal click is the real starting pistol for the whole process. So once that understanding clicks into place, we shift gears. We start moving from the world of theory and knowledge into the active, practical journey itself. So the path forward really unfolds in three key stages. You start with truly understanding that foundational knowledge. Then you have to actively put it into practice. But, and this is a big but, this practice can't happen in a vacuum. It absolutely requires guidance. And this point is non-negotiable. The source puts it so directly. It says, no one can do it on their own. A seeker needs direction. That might come from a guru or from what's described as divine grace. The point is, it's a path you walk with help, not all by yourself. Okay, and this is where things get really interesting. The source adds another layer to this whole journey, explaining that not everybody starts from square one in this life, and that's all because of efforts made in past lives. This brings us to this brilliant concept called paramatma. It's basically the fruit of past actions. So for some people who put in intense spiritual work in previous lives, that effort can suddenly ripen in this lifetime. It can just show up as a spontaneous experience or a sudden realization. It means they don't have to put in the same kind of groundwork this time around. Their past effort just comes to them, almost like destiny. Now, this brings us to a super important checkpoint on the path. A challenge that pretty much every seeker has to face: learning how to tell the difference between a real spiritual experience and a powerful illusion. So imagine you have this incredibly profound experience, whether it happens spontaneously or through years of practice. You then have to face this crucial question. Is what I just experienced real, or was it just a delusion, a trick of the mind? So what's the difference? Well, an illusion can feel incredibly real and profound, but it's usually fleeting. It doesn't have a stable foundation in actual understanding. It's like a beautiful mirage in the desert. A true realization, on the other hand, is an experience that's anchored and confirmed by that deep knowledge we talked about earlier. It's not just a passing feeling, it's a stable state of being. So the big question is, how do you actually tell them apart? Thankfully, you're not left on your own to figure it out. There is a specific tool for this kind of discernment. And that tool is called Brahma Jnana, the knowledge of ultimate reality. When this knowledge isn't just an idea you've read about, but a rock-solid conviction held deep within your intellect, it acts like an internal compass. In that confusing landscape of spiritual experiences, it will always point you toward what's real, protecting you from getting lost in illusions and helping you find stable ground. And that brings our whole exploration full circle, doesn't it? From the need for knowledge to the hard work of practice and guidance, all the way to the final test of discernment. We've laid out the map. So the only question left to ask is, where on this path does your own journey begin?